Hmm. All right. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, world? What's up, world? What's up, world? It is your fiduciary fella, your fam here, and the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall. And I'm here to do a quick late night rant, I guess, so I can just kind of say some stuff. I got folks who feel like I should probably be going live more often, kind of dropping science and knowledge on y'all, and I think it's only right. Sometimes I come on when I get triggered and I go on my crazy rants. But some things have actually been triggering recently, not in the negative, but in the positive. I've been doing a lot of business with brothers from these spaces. And so I've also been practicing my craft and trying to train myself up. Um, but I think what I'm going to talk about today is just nothing of serious consequence. Again, I'm just kind of saying some things from off of the mind in my late night rants. As I sit here on this beautiful area in front of my apartment complex near Yale University in downtown New Haven, Connecticut, and I speak of things from a viewpoint of an African American man because that's what I am. However, I always like to, like my man Kay said, speak of things from business aspect, right? Because when you're looking at business aspects, some of those things are going to be kind of there for us in terms of images, right? So let's talk about image and business aspects, right? Let me like this real quick. And that, like Kwame Brown said, it's been more than 2 minutes. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I can finally swear online. So there's that as well. Um, but so there's a lot of stuff that's been on my mind lately. But in terms of being in these spaces, we've had to talk a lot about economics. And I want to speak about that heavily because in these spaces, man, I don't have a signal on the side. In these spaces, we talk about things like trust funds and generational wealth. And that's generally all I'm going to talk about, right? But let's talk about what a trust fund is. Yeah. Again, portrayal of images, right? Like Nipsey Hussle said, open trust accounts, deposit racks, nigga. So how you do that? You gotta have the funds for a trust fund, right? So that's kind of the way that you have to do it is to actually have the funds to set up a trust fund, right? So how do we do that? When I had conversations with dudes who was explaining that a lot of these financial concepts, dudes in the hood don't even really want to get onto. Like I know dudes who sell their little drugs or whatever, sell a little dope, sell a little crack. Niggas don't make no real money. You know what I'm saying? I read an article to you cats from December 10th of 2002 that showed the Colombian cocaine cartel hid $80 million of drug money in life insurance policies. None of y'all niggas have moved $80 million worth of cocaine. None of you niggas have moved $8 million worth of cocaine. Shit, none of you niggas have moved $1 million worth of cocaine. Yet y'all call yourself El Chapo ass, on the hood ass niggas. Meanwhile, El Chapo is actually buying life insurance. But the niggas that I buy weed from, I spend $50 every 2 days. These niggas, I should just dead it, right? Because I'm like, yo, y'all niggas talking about y'all can't afford my product, but I can afford your product every 2 days. I work on commission just like y'all. It's just funny priority, man. I was speaking with somebody earlier, and he pulled up the article that I've been saying. Black people buy more life insurance than white people. We just buy it wrong. And he said, yo, I'm embarrassed to know that. I was like, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of it is shady practices. You got agents who get mistrained, don't understand all the concepts. Like, they'll go with certain companies that'll teach you concepts like buy term and invest the rest. Meanwhile, they got you out here, quote unquote, investing. You ain't even an accredited investor. They haven't taken you to know your customer laws or any of that. See, this investing shit is a lot deeper than getting a Robinhood or Acorn app or thinking you open an account with Vanguard or Fidelity, even Schwab or E-Trade. It's a $7 commission per trade. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna be on here long, but folks want me to go live more because I tend to talk about a topic that's consistent and boring. Um, and it gets hard to talk about sometimes because it is consistently boring, but it's consistently boring because it's consistent. And consistency is supposed to be kind of not sexy, you know. Um, Plus, I was watching the other content creator who said, you got to get comfortable talking to yourself. You know what I mean? And if you look at some of the greatest minds out there, the greatest people, and most influential people, they tended to have conversations by themselves. And then you also never know who's listening. Like, being that I was a New Yorker for so long, man, I seen shit, right? So, like, we see people who live on the streets and we look down on them. I don't know why. We all living paycheck to paycheck, man. Listen, I'm one rent payment away just like you from being on the street. What up, Kay? You know, but I'm one rent payment away just like you from being on the street. So we gotta not look down, man. I know dudes who are living on the street who are some of the most brilliant minds out there. Um, but one thing leads to another. You fall on hard times, and ain't nobody really checking to help you. Most people ain't checking to help you because they busy trying to help themselves. So it becomes difficult. But he mentioned that he felt embarrassed, and I said, don't feel embarrassed because of the fact of what's going on, Wally, of black people buying less, insurance in the wrong way. Like I said, a lot of it is the training. People were taught wrong, right? And so it takes people like myself who are financial professionals to actually come out here and reach the streets, right? So one of the things my man was telling me was we like, the BS. And so, I got plenty of stories of the BS, man. But they put rules in place. Trust me, dude, I come from the streets. So when I got into this life insurance game, I thought a different way. Let me tell you, man, in Queens, New York, they had a scheme. And this was back in 2012. What they would do is they would go find, ironically enough, somebody homeless on the street and say, "Hey, you want to make $50?" Yeah, all right. Sign this paper. They'd have him sign an accidental death and dismemberment. This is a guy who's down on his luck, homeless on the street. $50 could be a hit. You know what I'm saying? $50 could be your next drink or your next hit of rock, right? So you give them the $50, they sign. They don't know they're signing what's called an accidental death and dismemberment policy. What's that? That's basically a life insurance where you have to die in a freak accident or be killed for it to pay out. So they pay $50 to the guy. He signs the paper. They write somebody as a beneficiary, and then they pay the policy. The policy premium might be $200 a year. So they spent $250, right? 1 year goes by. They spend another $200. They spent $450 in total. Second year comes, boom, they kill the homeless guy. Their life insurance pays out $250,000. They was doing this a lot in Queens. They caught on to it and closed that scheme, but it's a scheme people was doing. You know what I'm saying? But it's fucked up. But this is what people were doing out here is the jungle, survival of the fittest. I think I'm gonna start doing that a lot. You we know we got like JT the Pocket Watcher. He be coming with some ill stuff. But I think I might go a little further into it with like the American Greed style stuff. You know what I mean? And chronicle like real schemes that people have done. Like Bernie Madoff, his whole scheme, his whole scheme was with a holding account at Chase Bank. All he did was open a business account at Chase Bank and started depositing billions of dollars in there after he was already rich. Crazy, right? Oh damn, my phone about to die. Well, I'm gonna keep going until my phone dies, and then yeah, we'll do it like that, you know. But he was stating that he was embarrassed to know that not only did the article show that black people bought life insurance more than white people, but we bought it wrong, which is what adds to the financial wealth gap or the racial wealth gap. But they bought it for different purposes. So they bought it. The reason they tend to buy it a little more correctly is because they buy it with the purpose of eliminating debt for their future generations. So one thing in the black community we're big on is, well, I want to leave generational wealth. Best way to do that is through real estate. Yes, a great way to do that is through real estate. But if you don't protect your investment, you're passing down the debt. The average American buys a house at the age of 52. The average mortgage is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So at 52, you're committing yourself to a debt until you're 82. The average American who purchases a home refinances inside of the first 10 years. So let's do the math. I'm 52. I buy a $250,000 house that I have 30 years to pay off. At 62, I decide to start all over again because, I'm on a fixed income now, but my monthly payment is lower. That's why I refinance. Well, now I'm 62. I'm 10 years older. Oh, wait. I just restarted this 30-year obligation. So now instead of 82 when I got to pay it, I'm going to be 92. Right? Myself and a friend of mine who's a realtor, I'm also a realtor, but I don't really practice real estate heavily. But he is heavily in the business. And we were comparing equity in a home versus, paying off a mortgage. And I was comparing what's called an amortization schedule. Everybody should Google this to a life insurance illustration. And he was like, whoa, so you mean people are clamoring to get a mortgage, which is paying down debt, versus clamoring to get life insurance, which is paying up in equity? If you really want equity, you would buy life insurance, not a house. I was like, yeah, but you won't tell them that because you want your commissions and selling them houses. He was like, you damn right. Keep buying these houses. Exactly. So the wealthy will buy a life insurance policy on one life 7 times. So that goes back to something that actually Kay was talking about earlier with folks lying to you about like their wealth, etc. Like rappers, or especially in the black community, entertainers, rappers, so on and so forth. So it's funny as hell you should mention it. I got a buddy who on Wall Street, financial professional like myself. He's an RIA too, but he manages a lot of celebrities. You'll see him in pictures with people like Fetty Wap, 50 Cent, Future. All these rappers come to his place in Jersey to do business with him. So he and I were sitting and talking. We were laughing one day, and he was like, I hate doing business with rappers. I was like, why? He was like, because they're fucking broke. They live paycheck to paycheck. And then, they're on these music videos with all these fancy cars and shit, and they look like they got money to the average person, but they're broke. Now, there's levels to it because it actually does depend. There was a point back in 2013 where I was working at my stock brokerage, EJ Sterling, on 39 Broadway. And this was at the time where Baby of Cash Money fame had just gotten his, I think it was $300,000 Maybach repoed. And then the CEO of my stock brokerage hung up the phone and was laughing. And I was like, "Why are you laughing?" He said, "Baby's net worth." He said, 300 million. I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I didn't know he was that much. I manage his money." I was like, "No, he can't be worth that much. He just got a Maybach repo." He said, "Dude, you don't understand something about rich people. Probably what happened." And he was very specific when he said this, so it wasn't a probably. It was more likely what actually happened. He said probably what happened was he ordered the car and wanted a very specific purple stitching that wasn't in the doors. So he said, "Fuck it, I'm not paying this lease," and let them come repo the car because they didn't put the very specific purple stitching in the car doors. Now, someone like Baby is going to be at a different position than your average rapper like Da Baby or Lil Baby. Everybody wants to be a baby. This is crazy. It's supposed to be grown ass men, but everybody's talking about I'm baby this, the baby that, Lil this, Lil that. Nobody ever wants to be grown ass man. You notice that everybody wants to be young something, Lil something, right? Young Jeezy and Lil Wayne, these dudes is like 40 and 50 years old. Ain't nothing young about you, Negro. You 40 years old. Middle-aged Jeezy. It should be his name, right? Middle-aged Wayne. Middle-aged rapper. Not the baby. you know? But I guess, that's ironically enough kind of how they rock. It's just funny, to see some of these things, um, and to hear some of these things. You know, most of these guys. No, baby, baby, the 5-star guy with the tattoos on his forehead. Baby had the my back repossessed. But again, these are cats who are portraying an image that isn't money, right? So we'll look at things like in some of the spaces I frequent, we'll have guys talk against marriage, and the statistic will be, well, 70% of marriages end in failure, but 80% of businesses end in failure. And nobody's telling y'all not to get an LLC. So just think about that for a minute. But anyway, back to the image, man. You'll see these dudes holding money phones up to their ear, and this, that, and the third, and they have no money, right? Let's look at money. So I used to, over a couple of summers ago, well, not volunteer work. I did freelance work at the U.S. Open, which is the tennis tournament at City over by City Field in New York, right? Expensive tournament. Yeah, talk about Tiger. Now that guy, Tiger, he's probably not like Baby getting his. He's actually likely getting his cars actually repoed and not being able to pay for them. Man, listen, y'all know Tahiri Jose of Love and Hip Hop. Man, I was with her. I met her at a credit repair function. A lot of these cats who are celebrities go to a lot of this credit repair because they be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So that little 89.99 to get it off charge makes sense for them. It don't always make sense for you. But man, listen, so there's all kinds of different tricks and schemes. So here's what's funny, like with a lot of these rappers, right? So they'll get what's like called a 360 deal. So most of the stuff that you see them with is not theirs and it's leased out by the company. But so I was working at the US Open and there are a few people who was there. One of the people who was there was the rapper Fabulous, signed to Def Jam Records. So I was a cashier there at the time, and this white guy with white hair walks up to my register to order a hot dog or whatever. And I'm like, oh, snap. Do you know who you are? Who that is? You know who you are? And he's looking at me like, how the hell do you know who I am? And the people with me are like, man, who's this? And I'm like, man, y'all worried about Fabulous. Y'all don't know who this is? And they're like, nah, who is it? Well, the person who it was Leor Cohen. So if you don't know who Leor Cohen is, Leor Cohen owns 300 Records, aka the guy who signed Young Thug, the guy who discovered the Migos and signs the Migos' checks. So you hype about, the Migos being able to buy, a Birkin bag, a $500,000 bag. Meanwhile, you don't even know the guy who signs his checks or who he is. He's walking around in the public free and clear. He has on a Cartier watch, but you can't even tell because it's not iced out. But the watch is probably like a $75,000 watch. His cufflinks are probably $2,000. The seats he's sitting in were probably a couple of grand. At the Arthur Ashe Stadium in the nosebleed section, the tickets were starting at $165. And that's to go see the tennis tournament. And that's at one stadium. I luckily, while I worked there, had access to all the stadiums because you could walk around. So that was cool. But I'd much rather know the guy who owns 300 records, right? That's the kind of connections that we need to be having. Oh, you own this, right? Let's look at, like, I'm going to the CAAFP, which is the Conference of African American Financial Professionals. And guess who's not going to be there this year? Ariel Investments. Do you know that's like the only black owned money management firm in existence? So, this is the type of shit that we need to be focused on. If we look at Charles Schwab, which partners with fucking Ariel Investments, that $10 billion endowment would have been much more effective going to Ariel Investments and then let Ariel Investments dole it out. Right? Facts. What up, Absalom? I'm definitely gonna have series called ADH Wealth Solutions. I'll probably start a second page that has that. And y'all be on the lookout actually. I have a new treat coming for y'all too. And actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and drop the science today. I was supposed to be recording that today, but myself and one of my new team members, we're going to be doing a podcast called About That Life Insurance and Financial Podcast because I am about that life. And so I'm going to talk about that life insurance and financial services. Mac Everett's in the building too. Yeah, make sure you hit the like as you enter for the YouTube algorithm. YouTube likes are free. If you feel like contributing to channel growth, you see my Cash App is in the chat. Feel welcome to do that. Damn, some dudes just passed by. I wish I had my business card to hand to them. It looked like some dudes who had some bread that I want to manage. Big fat, right? So damn, my phone at 10%. I'm about to have to bring this in the crib. I might have to pause and restart for y'all on some reality rap. But I appreciate y'all for liking the stream. Make sure you wipe ass work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass work in progress every day and see success. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely am going to be doing more lives And kind of dropping stuff from the heart off the chest. Um, I'll probably also I got to work on I got the mixer and everything. I just been doing a lot of other stuff. I got a few weeks left in this training program, but we definitely gonna come with that podcast because man, I be wanting to spit on some stuff that really could make some differences, man. You know what I'm saying? And come at it from a perspective of things that you may not know, right? Like I was talking to my man who's a barber, and he was like, "Yo, y'all don't even realize." He broke down to me what the barber pole means. You know what I'm saying? Barbers used to be barber surgeons. You know what I'm saying? They used to actually fix up like your cuts and your wounds in the field. They used to take care of dentistry and stuff like this in the field. It wasn't just cutting your hair and cleaning you up. They used to physically cut and clean up your wounds, right? So this is some real life stuff that these folks was doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with finances, right? If we want to really make that change, we have to use economics, right? So this is why I use the insurance and financial services. We have to look at it like tactics, right? So I told you there was something called a modified endowment contract, which is literally a tax shelter. This is how people like Donald Trump pay $750 in taxes, right? Recently, I used to tell you all about a life policy that, well, it used to be growing at 6.4%. That was in 2013. Most recently, it went down to 6.2%. As of this month, due to IRC 7702, which is the Internal Revenue Code 7702, that uh, basically it was when Donald Trump last year did the whole change with tax code. The insurance companies, everything went down to 1%, and insurance companies were still guaranteeing growth at 4%. So now what's happened is they've created a damn near 200% increase on premiums. So it seems like a detriment, but it's a benefit because now there's an increase on premiums, which means that if you have a cash value on investment grade policy, then your cash value will grow or your investment will grow faster because you're paying more cash into it. However, the bad side of it is that things like the dollar, even though 67% of the transactions in the world are done in US dollars, the dollar is becoming weaker, and the treasury bonds and GO bonds, the government obligation bonds, are becoming volatile. So the bonds are going up and interest rates are going down. So now the interest rate that I used to sell in my indexed universal life policy was 6.2%, and it's now 5%. I think it's 5.4%. But you damn near lost a whole basis point for waiting fucking 1 month. So when I sit down with people and I tell you time is of the essence, people say I want to wait. I understand you want to wait because you can invest more later or whatever, but it's about time in the market, not time in the market. And what I mean by that is if you start sooner, because you're never going to be healthier than you are today, then later you can always reconfigure, right? I hate, especially when I sit down with dudes from the hood. This one killed me. When I sit down with hood dudes and I be like, yo, maybe we should talk about this life insurance. Nah, son, my mama got it. Nigga, if you don't get the ever loving fuck out of my face with that, my nigga, my mom's got it for me. My nigga, your mom's hold that strap for you while you rolling down the block against the ops? Nah. So don't talk to me about some my mom's got it for me. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to be a grown man. Niggas say dumb shit like, yo, this my block, but don't have a fucking mortgage or business on the block. So no, it is not your block, sir. You don't own a goddamn thing on that fucking block, sir. You barely own the fucking underwear that are on your ass, sir. So don't tell me nothing about this being your block until you own a mortgage or a business on that fucking block. Then you can talk to me about it being your block. But until then, Hiram, who is the small hat or the Jew, owns that fucking block. Because he owns that fucking building. Nigga, fuck is wrong with y'all with that, man? Listen, you got me out here cursing and shit. I told you I'm an unorthodox all-star advisor. I'm not gonna give y'all, you know what I'm saying, that little fluff shit. I can't help it because I'm a little bit aggressive. It's because of the lines that I was raised in, right? Plus, to be honest, that fluff shit, I've been selling the fluff shit for over a decade. And that clean cut shit, niggas ain't listening to it, right? And I ain't get shot 5 times for no fucking reason, right? That's why I started doing this shit. I told you, in 2008, 3 days before Mother's Day, I got shot 5 times in front of my mother. Y'all niggas gonna get this work, cuz. Straight like that. You know what I mean? I mean, like, yo, shit's crazy, right? Y'all know the rapper Mo3. And he used to run around screaming, yo, the ops got money on my head. You know how many niggas in the hood I know talk that gangster shit? The ops got money on my head. I feel big. 50 Cent came out with that shit. You little niggas put money on my head. Go get a refund, nigga, because I ain't dead. Right? You got to put BK in there, cuz. Brooklyn. Spread love the Brooklyn way. But we won't put life insurance on our own head. We'll run around gangster because we think we're big time because some broke nigga put $50,000 up and we think that's money. $50,000 ain't no money. Fuck is y'all talking about, son? Peep game, right? Because I've been saying this. So again, this is why, again, in that article it said black people buy life insurance more than white people, but we buy it wrong. So again, we talk about shit like interest rates. Again, or if y'all look at that, y'all can Google it your goddamn self. Go look up high yield savings account. You'll find one of the highest yield savings account is with Marcus Millichap, aka Goldman Sachs. You get 0.5% APY. So that's 5%, or I'm sorry, that's 0.5%. So that's half of 1% per year. So what that means is, and generally these accounts have a minimum balance required of 25,000. But I do smaller numbers for arbitrary figures so that it's easier to swallow. So let's say you put $100 in that account today. You have to wait 1 year for that $100 to earn you 50 cents. You put $100 in a life insurance policy that's cash value. It grows at a compound interest rate of 2% monthly. So that means you have to wait 1 month to get $2 off of your $100. Do you want $100 a month? Excuse me. Do you want $2 a month or 50 cents a fucking year? Niggas always say I want $2 a month, and then I say let's apply for this policy, and then niggas say I want to wait, and then I want to take out a gat and shoot a nigga in the fucking face. Cause I'm like, yo, what the fuck? like, like, yo, nigga, are you serious? That's like that ass sitting there with a bad bitch, and you like, yeah, shorty, whatever, whatever. I want the wildest sloppy top. And she's like, pull out your dick, I'll fuck it right now. And then you're like, nah. Like that's exactly what y'all niggas are saying to me. Like that's what y'all like. That's really what I feel like y'all be saying, son. Like, what's going on? Bro? So, like, it's just it's hard to like. I don't know. That shit's just crazy to me, bro. Like, I really be dealing with this shit. Like, and I be saying, like, okay, so again, average income is $50,000. A black household will buy a fucking policy of $50,000. A wealthy household, black or otherwise, will buy a policy of $1 million to say, well, $50,000 times 20 is $1 million. So I'll protect my family of my income for $50,000 a year for 20 years by buying a $1 million policy. Now, an elite or an all-star advisor like myself, who's probably going to have an elite clientele or create elite people with the clientele they create, is going to say, get a $5 million policy. Which, if we look at Marcus Millichap now, and we know that interest rates are 0.5% instead of 1%, you really need a $10 million policy. What's half of a percent of 10 million? It happens to be 50,000 in perpetuity. So that's how you actually create fucking money. Not running around screaming, these niggas put $50,000 on my head, but I ain't dead. Be more gangster and put at least $1 million on your own head. Then you really gangster, cuz. But, you know, we don't look at that. Now, the ill part is that most niggas already fucked up in the game. Because I done been talking to mad heads, and most cats already got felonies on paper. So if you're on papers or have a criminal history, you can't get life insurance. And there's a way around that. There's actually a product that can protect you, you know, and that product uh, is an IRA or an IRA, an individual retirement annuity, though they're calling an account. But my phone is about to die. Let me take this shit upstairs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take this shit upstairs and into the crib because I'm on a little bit of a roll and I'm ranting a little bit. So, right? I might as well talk my talk. Damn, cuz, shorty over here knocked out on the fucking. Damn, son. Niggas got me wanting to spit verses like I used to back in the day, man. Nigga said sipping Henny till I Earl. Fuck another nigga girl. Just another way for me to say fuck the fucking world. Fuck my homie, cause he fucking with my girl. But I don't give a fuck, cause I'm fucking with his girl. Yeah, that shit crazy. Right? Hold on, I'm about to go hop on this elevator. Yeah, my shit at 7%. Right? And we got 5 in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you drop a comment. Salute to all the people in the building. You know what I'm saying? And definitely do this. Absalom in the building. Shout out to all the all stars out there in the world. Spring's doing it big time. You know what I mean? We got the Mac era out here. You know, K Business Podcast. Bam, NC Worker. My man Wiley in the building. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm in my elevator going upstairs. Oh shit, where I put my house keys? Alright. Yeah, it's a freestyle. Yeah, man, I used to rap back in the day, man. Um, like I said, that's part of, my getting shot was trying to be, you know, the uh the next 50 Cent, man. Matter of fact, I actually on my page I dropped a rhyme that was a freestyle. I was freestyling to kicking the door. If I can remember, I said some craziness. I said clearest, the surest. I done sniffed and sold the purest, but now I'm on the block selling insurance, and it's something that I would suggest you get, cause you out here thinking can you getting it, you out here pitching it. If you out here getting it, then you know that your ops is out there thinking about loading up, putting clips in it, and that's your body. Somebody got me, cause trying to buy a new Maserati. Word, buddy. Man, listen. You know what? I think I actually been slacking on my Mackin because I like to drop articles for y'all. I gotta put this damn work order in, man, and get them to turn because it's been months, man. I ain't had them turn off this damn fire thing, but I leave that thing blinging, man. Oh yeah, man. There's definitely been a lot of networking going on, man. I want y'all to Google my man Lawan Abrams, man. You know, if y'all know about my man Brother Polite, y'all know about my man Lawan Abrams. You know what I'm saying? And he has a book about tax deed flipping. You know what I'm saying? And tax deed trust fund. One of the things about trust funds, though, I want to spit about, because again, I hear dudes talking about that often. Um, is and good looking K for sharing the video. Um, but trust funds, you have to have. There's an operative word in the word trust fund. And the operative word, unfortunately, is not trust. It's fund. So you have to create the funds for a trust fund. I sent it in the PDF. I'm checking my emails as we speak because you got to multitask and be doing business. And I'm frustrated because I sent this PDF 3 times and they keep asking for me to send it in PDF format, and I've done that. At any rate, yeah, man, listen. I think what needs to happen is we have to be educated on stuff, right? So you know what? I'm gonna pop up some market news real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me load up some recent news from the market. Let me read some of that shit to us here. Um, on this, you know what? I'm gonna change the title of this to Midnight Money Madness too. So I'll be doing that later. Uh, broadcast info. Let's change the name of this to Midnight Money. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk slick, right? Might as well talk some talk while I'm talking my talk with y'all tonight and do this Midnight Money madness. Normally, I would be watching, Actually, I ain't gonna hold you. I haven't really been tuned into KS since the average at best check on some other mess, but I've been having other stuff to do. Let's take a look. So, what was the most recent market news? So let's see. The GBP slash USD gains traction, chances of more upside. So this is from Action Forex. So the GBP is the Great Britain pound, and obviously the USD is the US dollar. And let me open this article right quick. See what's jumping with this. Well, I'm looking at that. So the S&P opened at 4406 and closed at 4387. So it's a minus 8 point change. The Dow opened at 34,968, closed at 34,838. So that is a negative 97 point change. And the NASDAQ opened at 14,758 and closed at 14,681, which was an 8 point change. Now, let's take a look at this. What? Damn, this shit taking forever to load. This must be a huge article about the Great Pound Britain. Great Britain pound. Salute, Ron. What's going on? Yeah, I'm actually reading actual market news today. I figured why not? You know what I mean? I got some requests. Fellas want me to go live a little more. Spit a little bit of my rants. I'm also in a book club, ironically enough. And in this book club, we're currently reading a book called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. And ironically enough, it was one of the articles was speaking about, actually, let me open one of the passages because it speaks about athletes. And what it speaks to is the mindset of the athlete in terms of failures and successes and things of that nature. So let me see. Let me find a good portion where they talked about Jordan. Jordan's a little bit too common, right? Let's see. Staying on top. What does it mean to be a star? Now let's go back to that's Michael Mina. Let's go here. So let's go to where it says, what is failure? So it says, finding number 2. Those with the growth mindset found setbacks motivating. Right? So if I put that in my personal experience, we look at a setback of last year. Anybody who's familiar with me recalls that last year I was trying to qualify for, ironically enough, even though it was the bottom of the table, the top of the table of the MDRT. Salute, Perf, what's going on? So I was trying to qualify for, even though it was the bottom of the table in the hood, most dudes don't know what the MDRT is, which is the $1 Million Round Table. And let me see if I can put that in the chat because I think that's something y'all need to be familiar with. Let me see, www. Is it www.mdrt.org? But so I was trying to qualify for the MDRT last year, and I definitely had a setback because I didn't qualify. So to qualify for the top of the table, which I was just trying to get the skinny OT's qualification, you have to have initially collected at least $122,000 worth of premium last year. Now it's higher this year, and it's normally much higher every year because normally you do face to face, and there's a lot of different things, and they accounted for COVID. So all I had to do was collect $122,000 worth of premium. That means dollars that actually got paid to the company, not promised to be paid, but actually paid to the company. And I fell short by like 7,500. I collected $115,000 of premium dollars last year. That's not what I got paid, but that's what I got paid off of. And I do get a commission. So with that, unfortunately, I started again from zero. But what did I do? I ramped up my efforts this year. I did kind of like Edward Anderson was on, and he was like, "Y'all need to start going quote unquote mode one with your sales. It ain't just got to be for approaching women." Because one of my complaints a lot in the space is, you know, everything seems to be focused on women. Even with, Kevin Samuels, I was like, dang, man, when I stumbled upon him, he was already talking to women. But, like I said, I went on his channel and he had an episode called Are You Prepared for Your High Value Woman? And in that, ironically enough, he spoke to another financial professional who was financially further than I currently am and had his own firm. And then he wasn't yet married. And I explained, yes, I'm already married. And in a lot of the qualifications, I would meet the high value man, except for financially, I don't make at least $10,000 a month. And he immediately said, well, what the fuck are you doing on my phone? You're high value homeless. Click. Now, no, I didn't go and make these videos about say, well, who the hell is he to tell me who's high value or whatever, whatever. Salute and thanks for the cash app. But he would be like, and that's from my man Perfect. Damn, I wish I had my my horn right now. Be well, hey, we just gonna turn up and we gonna for you, right? So, but really, like he he definitely. I lost my track of thought real quick. Getting excited, but again, there's just a lot of different tricks and trade. I'm waiting really for this damn. Here we go. This article to load up that I want to read to y'all. And this comes from so I have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management. Anybody who works in sales should be familiar with what a CRM is. I use a CRM called Redtail. And what Redtail is the CRM and set up for financial advisors. It has things like when you become my client, any assets under management that I have for you, policies, da 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 da. Only people who are myself or on my team can see that. However, there's other things that we can see, like market news, how the market's going, what happened on Twitter, like I just read to you, the most recent indices, which is the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, and the S&P 500. Your market watch list, for example, certain ticker symbols that are up here. And it'll also have, market news, financial articles. So that's what I'm reading to you guys now. And this is one by Titan FX, which is Forex. And when we're looking at Forex or foreign exchange, let's look at, again, not being lied to by folks. And I'm going to definitely holler at JT because I want him to pocket watch things like different platforms that trade Forex. And I'm not dissing them, right? Because they do work. A lot of those like MLMs and stuff, yeah, they kind of sort of work. But they can kind of sort of be pyramidy too. And, there's a small percentage of people who actually make money from them, a real small percentage. But they do work and they do, in some senses. I have affiliated with some of them just as what's called a lost leader, which is why I think a lot of people get into them. You'll see a lot of financial professionals, attorneys, and real estate agents who get into these fields. When I say financial professionals, generally it's like part-time tax preparers. So people who do like Liberty Tax or Happy Tax, or even like myself, who I have my PTIN, so I can literally do taxes all year round, or come tax time, I could set up out the barber shop or the laundromat and say, hey, I do taxes, and charge people to do their taxes. It's really cheap. Gyogami, what's up, brother? It's really cheap actually to get your PTIN, and I'm gonna need some support with this. And when I say support, I really mean accountability partners. So stuff like I've been dragging my feet with like Ra, on setting up this not for profit. He's needed some stuff from me. And you know, I understand that you understand I have a lot on my plate too, but I also do need your help in terms of accountability. Kind of call me sometimes and be like, yo, what the fuck, dude? Um, you know, just checking in, making sure you got this shit, you still working on it. You know, that's important. As men, it's something that will help us keep accountable, and it just keeps iron sharpening iron. As a salesperson, I always look for an accountability partner, and it's something that athletes look for too, right? Even though Kobe was in the gym by himself, you don't think he had an accountability partner? I promise you he did. Even if it was one of the coaches, there's somebody who got in Kobe Bryant's ass other than Kobe Bryant. There's somebody who had to remind him to create that venom that came when he struck as the Black Mamba. You figure deal me? So, if I go into this article, it's let's see. It says Great Br- Great Brit Great Britain pound slash U.S. dollar gains traction. Chances of more upsides by Titan FX, August 3rd, 2021, 3:22 GMT, which I believe is Great Mountain Time. I'm not 100% sure. The key highlights are the euro and the US dollar started a fresh increase above the 1.39% resistance zone. It broke a crucial bearish trend line at 1.3825 on the 4 hours chart. This is a lot of Forex language. Um, the euro and the US dollar is facing an uphill task near the 1.19 resistance zone, and the US dollar and the JPY, which is the Japanese yen, is declining, and it could extend losses below 109. So, further into the article, it says the British pound started a strong increase above the 1.3820 resistance against the US dollar. Looking at the 4 hours chart, the pair even broke the 1.395 level. It settled nicely above the 1.39 zone. Then the 100 simple moving average, red 4 hours, and the 200 simple moving average, which is the green 4 hours. I wish I could show you all the chart, but I'm looking at the chart on my laptop and I'm not going to be technical and figure it all out. Um, Actually, you know what? I will start sharing and reading some of these articles though, because these are ill. But I want to talk about things like when we're talking about forex, things like a club called Tradera, which allows you to trade forex, and there's a few others. And usually there's a subscription fee. To be honest, literally, you don't need those things. If you're going to pay a monthly subscription fee to quote unquote learn from the quote unquote professional or the guys who have done this on how to get your pips and dips, go get your Forex license. Series 3 and 4. Series 34. It's Forex, it's commodities and futures. Okay? You'll trade those, and the $189 a month or the $89 a month that you pay for your subscription fee to Tradera or Maverick Trading or whatever other MLM trading, and learning from the pros, not losing your money. You can literally just take your same $189. I think it's $400 for the classic Kaplan. And then, matter of fact, let me Google that now because I'm going to get my. I am eventually going to manage a black hedge fund. So I'm going to be having to reacquire all of my securities licenses. Um, I'm straying away from my Series 6, 63, 66, and 7, and just going to stick with my Series 65 because I'm going to do um, fee only advisory, where I tend to just charge a fee as opposed to worrying about commissions. It tends to be better for you, the client, because then there's less guesswork. You feel less pressured because you feel like, well, I've already paid you XYZ fee, so then I won't have to worry too much about you pressuring me to get this sale off to get your commission. Um, so yeah, the study exam is $300 for the self-study package from Kaplan for your Series 3. So $300 plus however much, the paperwork uh with FINRA is your CRD and getting licensed and all that with FINRA and SEC and SIPC, because this is highly regulated stuff. And then, your insurances, which you're going to want to carry errors and omission insurance. And I'll explain to you why. Back in, what was it? I want to say it was 2012. I got sued for $1 million by a woman. She won out of court. She will be being paid $410,000. Luckily, I had insurance to protect my ass, so all I had to pay was $5,000 out of my own pocket. The insurance covered the other $405,000 that this woman got for suing me, an insurance agent. Why? Because she bought a disability policy when they used to sell insurance at airports and they used to sell travel and disability insurance. She bought this policy in January of 1984. Just for clarity, I was born in April of 1984. So this policy literally predates my existence by 3 months. But anyway, I explained to her she had a living benefit policy, which is a disability. So you get, paid after an event where, you can't go to work. But I explained to her that because she didn't have a copy of her policy with her, I couldn't tell her the provisions of her policy. But if she had purchased a policy today, meaning the day that we were sitting there, our current provisions only pay on U.S. soil. So after another 4 weeks, she put in a claim. It got declined because the policy only pays on U.S. soil. And it was confusing because she lived in Jamaica, Queens, but she got injured in Jamaica, the island of Jamaica, not Jamaica, Queens. So when she got denied her claim, she got an attorney. And this is something you guys should all know. So when it comes to dealing with financial services or financial professionals, you have three options. You can sue the company, which most people do and fail miserably because the company has many multi-billion-dollar attorneys. You can sue the individual, like the agent themselves, because most likely they are 1099. And Jake from State Farm pays State Farm so he can be Jake. They don't pay him. So all those, John Smith, State Farm agent, we paying the company to use their name. We don't. It's like drug dealers, nigga. You want to be on my block? All right. You got to pay a tax, nigga. So anybody who works for State Farm or works for MetLife or works for Prime America or works for New York Life or works for this company or works for that company, well, they also don't work in your best interest. They work in the best interest of the company, but they also are paying that company, and you have the option of suing them directly, which is likely your best bet because most agents probably don't have proper errors and emissions coverage, which you can then sue the pants off of them and get their personal assets. So then, the Alonzo Hall Insurance Agency, after you sue the pants off of me, now becomes the, perfect timing insurance agency. Because you sued the pants off of me, right? And then you got all my assets because I didn't have a proper business structure. Or you can sue both the individual and the company. But again, your best bet is to sue the individual or the agent, like she did me. I was with Mutual of Omaha at the time, and she put in a suit against me. But again, that's actually why she won, because I ain't have no money for no attorney. I was working on commission and just cutting my teeth in the business. I was just a year, 2 years into the insurance field, so I didn't even know the type of stuff that I know now. But luckily, I had ears and emissions. So when she sued the fuck out of me for $1 million, they was like, "Nah, we'll give you 41%." And 41% of $1 million is 110,000. Excuse me, 410,000. My deductible was 5,000. But that's something that you all should know when it comes to dealings with financial professionals, especially people who do your taxes. Because, man, people get duped by people who do taxes all the time. CPAs, stop going to people who are seasonal tax people. Like, you try. So there's a couple things. One, you could really do your taxes your freaking self. And again, I'm undercutting my own business because I'm a licensed tax preparer and I charge you money for this. But I got my PTIN back in 2015 as a loss leader because as a salesperson, you always look for, okay, well, I looked at a way I could flip it and show people how to use their tax refund to flip an ill retirement. Take $1,200 and put it in a retirement account. You're going to get 5 or 6 bands anyway. But, we don't think about strategies with generational wealth. We just think, oh, life insurance, I die and somebody get a check. I didn't know I could stuff ass loads of money and put a tax shelter. I ain't know fucking El Chapo was using this shit to hide coke mule money. Meanwhile, I'm putting $5,000 of dollar bills to my ear talking about we got racks or stretching dollar bills across my fucking arm. Nigga, I used to sell crack. Y'all niggas bullshitting, cuz. 800 of that go to the re-up man, nigga. You eating off $4 a day or fried chicken wings, my nigga. Stop with the bullshit, cuz. You talking to a nigga who was really out there doing this shit. Like, I see these niggas stunting for the grand. We got racks. You got racks? Come here. Let me show you something right quick. Take 25 racks and put it away one time. Nah, niggas ain't doing that. Cause we ain't really got bread. You know what I'm saying? We scared of it or something? Possibly. I don't know. But yeah, so the Great Britain pound and the US dollar are gaining traction. So all y'all doing into that Forex shit, yo, check that out. I'm gonna be jumping around right now. Well, it's almost midnight and shit, but I'm on my midnight money madness. So we're probably gonna do this and rock this out till midnight. Then I'm gonna hop off and watch a little bit of Kevin Samuels. Maybe. Maybe not. But yeah, man. Salute to Rael, salute to Sheed, man. These two gentlemen, yo, I gotta send y'all something. Like, I'm gonna come out and like have a drink with y'all or something. Cause, yo, these gentlemen are like proponents of me. Like, yo, she'd be out here like, yo, y'all don't understand. You need to talk to this brother. Yo, I was on Perfect's podcast, bro, and he was like, my man's was like, I don't know. I don't know if you got what I need. He said, nah, that's the problem, bro. He's got what you need, but you have to tell him what you want. Talk to him. I'm telling you, I sat down and talked to him. I don't want to put too much out there, but I'll put it to you like this. He was in a position he wanted to do something. And what he wanted to do would have made me a nice paycheck. However, when I looked at it, I was explaining to him, bro, it makes no sense. I'd get a great paycheck from it, bro. So if you want to do it, cool. If you want to put some money in my pocket, but as again, and this is why I call myself your fiduciary fam, which is again also why I started charging a fee, is I have to make the best decision for you, not for my pocket, right? So here's what I tell folks. As a matter of fact, Rob was on with me when I was on. I think I was on. Was a Mr. Fantastic's uh, page, and one of the dudes was like, "Oh well, yeah, you life insurance guys talk about your commission," and I was like, "Well, that's very funny, yeah." Financial professionals like Sue Zorman and Dave Ramsey will explain to you, "Oh, I yeah, insurance agents get anywhere from 50 to 90% commission." That's very true. They also get as little as 25%. They also oftentimes get zero. When you apply for a policy, it takes 3 to 8 weeks. You drag your feet. Don't ever answer the phone call from the fucking, paramed exams. Don't give your blood and urine for weeks. Nigga, I ain't get paid this whole time, but I still gotta come to your ass with a smile. Hey, excuse me, sir. Would you do this fucking shit so I can get paid? So I can, hobnob and bring you out for a steak since you think I'm made of fucking money? Right? But this is the shit y'all, we don't think about. Having a responsibility to the table in the brotherhood. Yeah, bro, I definitely have a responsibility to the table, brother. You know? And yeah, I speak wild, but sometimes it's the only way the message will get through and penetrate. Um, but so after all this time passes, and then you get declined for the policy. Well, guess what? I just sat there for the longest and get $0. Let's see. We just looked at an article where blacks don't get the treatment you're talking about, and end up buying the wrong shit. Yes. So here's something that, matter of fact, I appreciate that salute. Matter of fact, pisses me the fuck off with financial professionals, right? Especially when it comes to insurance. So because we look at insurance as, a task or a chore, somebody just come, oh, I got life insurance already. Oh, okay, what do you got? Oh, I got $100,000 policy. I'm good. And then your next question is always, how did you come up with that number? And you know how most people come up with that number? I'm gonna tell y'all in 1 second, but I want somebody to put it in the chat. Give me your best guess of how you think people come up with that number. I'm gonna go grab I'm gonna put it on mute and go grab me a bottle of water because my mouth is dry. I'm gonna leave y'all a chance to go ahead and put in the chat why you think, how you think most people come up with their number. Give me 13 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm back. My fault. It took a little longer than 13 seconds. I had to go kiss my wife. It says what they need to be. Have a funeral and a vacay after death. So, oftentimes this is one reason. But I'm gonna tell you how they come up with that number. So, simply put, they come up with that number because they haven't held that amount of cash in their hands before, so it's unfathomable. This is generally why they'll get 1 year's income as a policy, maybe 2 years' income as a policy. Matter of fact, hold on, how do I do this? Um, Settings. No, I'm trying to. Yes. Here we go. Copy. Boom. And then let me do like this. Here we go. So I just put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come up and discuss that. But Perfect was up here, and on Perfect's channel, we was actually reading this article, and he was explaining, black people buy 1, maybe 2 years worth of income. Meanwhile, white people are buying at least 3 to 5 years. I think it was closer to like 5 to 8 years worth of income, right? So remember, I broke down, well, $50,000 worth of income. The average person needs at least $1 million worth of life insurance to cover $50,000 a year for 20 years. And that's bare minimum, right? But again, if you really want to cover $50,000 and have generational wealth, you're looking at a multiple $1 million policy. So we ain't buying it right. But, we got them Gucci's. Man, listen, I did some wild shit the other day, and I went and bought some Roberto Cavalli sneakers. I'll post them on my Instagram. But I was like, shit. I bought my wife some Givenchy stuff the other day and took my mother and grandmother out for, lunch along with my wife. So I said, why not get myself something nice? So I went and I bought myself some Roberto Cavalli sneakers. Them shits is kind of fly too. To be honest, they look like high top uptowns, but who am I to frown on fancy schmancy stuff? Besides the fact that in my field, you kind of have to look that part, so you have to have some expensive stuff just for people to kind of say, oh, he's got the bells and whistles. Let me give him my money. To be honest, it's more for the people with less money than with more money, because wealthier people are generally a little more unassuming. Underrated darkness in the building. Salute to you. What's going on? So yeah, black people are coming up with a policy. Oh, it's $100,000 because I ain't never had $100,000 in my hands at once, and I make $50,000 a year. So I figure 2 years of my income. Well, that's life changing if we get that at one point in time, but it's really not. You know, um, it's not gonna really have as much of an effect as you would think, because multiple things go away when a person dies, not just their income, but their presence. So when their presence goes away, what does that mean? That means that shit like Sally Homemaker, who used to live off of, Johnny Homemaker's income, well, now she's got to go to work. So she can't bring the kids to school. So she's got to pay somebody to bring the kids to school and pick them up. Because now she works 9 to 5. So, dropping the kids off at 8 ain't going to work because she got to drive an hour to go to work. So she got to pay somebody to take the kids to school. And since she works 9 to 5 and the kids get off at 3, she can't drive an hour at 2 to pick up the kids, drop them off, and drive an hour to get back to work. So you see how there's a snowball effect, right? So we're talking about real estate as well being a great way to pass down generational wealth. And it is, if it's done properly. But again, being 52, buying your first home, and then dying without proper life insurance, most people die in the middle of their mortgage and pass down debt, not an inheritance. Yes, the property eventually will appreciate, but number one, you have to leave money to maintain that property. Number two, you have to leave money to pay property taxes. Number three, if it still has a mortgage and is not owned free and clear, you'll also have to pay that debt, which can also include transfer fees and taxes, because you'll have to transfer the deed, title, and mortgage over to the new owner. Oftentimes, when transferring a mortgage, you'll have to requalify for that mortgage. So I think the next time I pop up, actually, I wanna, because I've been talking about this a lot. And matter of fact, I don't know if I could really do it up here. But let's see if I can do it. Amortization schedule. Amortization schedule. All right. Let's see. Bankrate has one. All right. Let me see something. If I can share my screen. I'm on the phone, y'all, so bear with me. I don't know how to do all this up here. Settings, camera. No, I don't want the camera right now. How the heck do I share my screen from the phone? That's not it. I'm gonna figure this out, y'all. Where to God? Hold up. Setting, layout, private chat, broadcast info. Alright. No. I think I just fell out of the doggone um chat. You used to be able to share your screen on this joint from your phone. I guess you can't do that no more. General settings? No. Let me edit the screen from screens. Wow. Alright, so I can't show y'all the amortization schedule from my phone, apparently. But all you gotta do is Google it. It's amortization. Actually, you know what? I'll spell it in here for you. You know what? I'm gonna share this with y'all from bankrate.com, uh, which is an amortization schedule. So y'all can go do that yourself and go look up an amortization schedule. So what an amortization schedule is literally it shows you what and where your payments will be on your mortgage from day one till you've closed or finished the obligation. The ill part about it is that when you have an amortization schedule, it'll show you like August 3rd, 2021, you bought the house for $250,000. You paid $20,000 down. You got X amount of dollars left. August 3rd, 2038, you've paid this many dollars for this many years. And now you should have X amount of dollars left on your mortgage. So you'll literally be able to see what it will be in 2038 today in 2021 when you're buying the house, right? And a life insurance illustration, when it's a cash value policy, is an amortization schedule. It literally shows you if you pay X amount of dollars January 1st or August 3rd, 2021, and continue on the same pay schedule, just like you're on that pay schedule, everybody's dying to get a mortgage, which means payment till death. When you're steady, heavy on that, you then look at a life policy, which is heavy on paying up in equity. And as opposed to a mortgage, which will be a payment till death, a life policy will be an equity that will get you money on return on investment. I can show you with as little as $100 at just about any age, how in 20 years you will absolutely have a return on your investment. Now, when I say 20 years, people look at me like I have a fucking third eye. And why does that piss me off? Well, because when we talk about investing, when we talk about, oh, I'm getting into Bitcoin, I'm getting into Dogecoin, I'm getting into AMC to the moon. I'm not knocking that shit, even though I'm clowning it or whatever. I'm doing that for a reason because I have to state a point, right? But when you do that shit, like I talked to this dude the other day, right? We was smoking weed outside of a wedding, and he was actually the manager of the whatever the caterers. But we sitting there and he was like, yeah, nah, dude, thing with investing, you don't want to lose, just don't ever sell it. I'm like, yes, but you also don't gain that way. And this is the problem. You don't have an exit strategy with your stocks or your quote unquote investments. So motherfuckers be like, yo, I'm up, son. I just earned $50 bazillion on this, because Dogecoin was 4 cents when I bought in, and now it's 44 cents, and I'm up. And that's great. But now you have to find someone on the open market who can buy it at 44 cents. Otherwise, that being up is having a hard dick with no bitch. What's good, a black beauty? Yo, you know what I'm saying? So, let's not sit around there and have a hard dick with no female. That's basically niggas dry dicking. I'm very well, madam. I'm doing as well as I can in the space. Just a little midnight money rant, midnight money madness. Um, but so definitely that's like dry dicking, bro. So you can't dry dick yourself for your finances. So again, we got to use strategies. So let's look at another strategy, right? Again, back with Sheed. I turned down that check, but in the strategy, he gave me an even better check. And he's giving me more checks because he's running around these spaces praising me. Why? Because what did I do? I said, all right, let's look at strategies. You got two 10-year-olds, right? So you have two kids, right? So let's protect their financial future. Let's set up a college fund for them, right? So instead of setting up a college fund with a financial advisor or going to your state and setting up a college fund, which is a Section 529 college savings plan, which is a great product to have. I'm not knocking it. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about alternative strategies, right? So if we're going to do alternative strategies, we got to look at stuff like, all right, how can I fund college at the best cost and most cost effective for me and my children? Well, you would use OPM or other people's money and dollar leveraging. So how do you leverage those dollars? Well, instead of getting a Section 529 college savings plan and paying a financial advisor like myself 2 and 20 fees, which is 2% of your net worth and 20% of your capital gains, most people won't charge you the 2% unless you have an actual net worth that's valuable to them, which most Americans don't. Even those who own property generally don't have a net worth that's valuable enough for an advisor like myself to charge them 2% of their net worth annually. Okay. I'll give it to you like this. Most homeowners who own a home with a value of less than $1 million, even if it's an income producing property, are generally in the $3,000 to $5,000 net worth range. Meaning even though I got the fancy house, I got the Jaguar, I got the Mercedes Benz and the Lexus for my girlfriend or my wife, or both, if you're born like that. you know, um, but their total net worth on paper is about 3 grand, which means that even if they liquidate stuff, they ain't gonna at the end of the day have nothing but 3 grand out of it, right? When you'll hear things like, and certain things factor into your net worth, like having life insurance. That's actually a huge factor of net worth because it's an easy way to pay small amount of dollars to attain high net worth. So that's why things like Prime America's model, which is actually Dave Ramsey and Sue Zorman's model, which is actually the wealthy people's model of buy term and invest the rest, works. But it has to be done properly. Remember, I told you I sell investment grade life insurance policies. So you can buy a life insurance policy as an investment, not a death benefit. And then you buy a term life insurance policy to protect from the shit that you're doing when you die. No liquid assets. 250K and up, yes. Wow. Boom. That's what's up. Kareen, no, she's not my wife. Even though she's a Brooklyn girl too. Um, I definitely got somebody, a Black Beauty, that I'd love for you to meet who lives in the Flatbush area right now. Um, he's a blue collar guy, but he's definitely a good brother. And he's making at least about what 60, 65. Um, and the last we spoke, I'm actually trying right now to manage his money. The last company he left was paying him about 40. So he said, y'all ain't paying me enough. I've been here for a couple of years. What's up? They kept playing around. So he left, found the other company that's paying him 65. So I'm trying to take about 15 grand for him right now, and manage that. And then I'm trying to get him to move again to a place that's going to pay him at least 75. And he's looking for a good woman who is a hustler. He was like, "Look, man, I don't care. All she got to do is work at McDonald's, bro. I just want a woman who's, willing to at least go out there and work and do something." Because he's already had a woman who had multiple children, like more than three, and he paid all of the bills. So he has no problem doing that. He actually likes doing that. Um, a Saint Lucian who moved mountains for me. Oh man. All right, so she, no competition. All right, and if he's Saint Lucian, I know he's doing his thug thizzle. That's all good. But yes, so again, back to what I was speaking about the image, man. A lot of those images that we see with these gangster man. You know, one of the things that is crazy with this gangster is if you take a poll of people outside of Black America and ask, hey, yo, what is your opinion? What's the first image that comes to mind when you hear of the word gangster? And in most countries, they'll explain to you it's a man in a tailored suit and tie. Now, as you can see in a lot of my pictures, my suits are not bespoke. Um, I'm weird because I have broad shoulders, so technically I need to wear a 38 regular, but I'm skinny, so I wear a 36 regular. But I used to be fat, so I used to wear a 46 regular. So I'm really trying to get into fashion now because I could wear like one button suits. My man Coffee Nino would know what I'm talking about, man. In that she says I'm never single, just unmarried. Hey yo, fellas, big talk, real talk, man. We got some women in the building, you know what I'm saying? And I want to actually speak to that because, there's a lot of stuff that we complain about, and a lot of this is this financial stuff that we be slacking in our macking, man. And then we go ahead and we shout and blame our women. But again, y'all will sit and talk to me. And matter of fact, I'm gonna bring this up again. The dude who was 52 this year and died, dear friend of mine, it hurts my heart. But he has a 19-year-old who had to put out a GoFundMe for $10,000. But 2 years ago, he sat and talked to me about life insurance and said $100 a month at the age of 50 seemed ridiculous to spend on a life insurance policy. This man then purchased the property for $150,000 and had at the time a 17-year-old daughter who 2 years later, which is this year, 2021, is 19 and entering college. This black woman is now unprotected because this man ain't have no life insurance. So he ain't leave her no money to pay for his funeral, obviously, if she had to gather up $10,000 for a GoFundMe. So that means he also ain't leave her jack shit to pay for college. So that also means he ain't leave her jack shit to pay for this $150,000 house that's a mortgage, since it's a 30-year commitment, right? So he left her to let some fly dude in a wave cap with a buy here, pay here Benz with 200,000 miles pull up with a system bumping. She gonna be like, damn, I gotta get these college books. Yep. So now she gonna get them cheeks clapped because the nigga with the wave cap and the Benz Say, yo, I got $100 right here for you, mom. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. Fucking up his re-up. But, we do that sometimes. So you're gonna fuck up his re-up, spend $100, try and get some box from the young shorty. He's gonna clap her cheeks, raw, or with a condom with holes in it. This is a college girl. I got me one. I'm gonna trap her and get her pregnant. If you ain't know niggas do that, nigga did that to my sister-in-law. It's real in the field. You know what I'm saying? Tell her to move in the basement and rent the other floors. A Black Beauty, this is in Detroit, not New York. It's a single family home. So she's left. Oh, and yeah, she left the home obviously to go to college, but he died. So again, that $10,000 paid for his funeral, and she gonna get them cheeks clapped by a dude in a wave cap with a Pinto, but it looks like it has a Benz logo. And then we gonna be on places in the manosphere that I frequent with other brothers that makes the manosphere look like a bunch of crying ass bitter dudes talking about, oh, these women for the streets. Sounding like some bitch ass niggas, right? Now that's not the image that we want portrayed for the Black manosphere. But like my man Rael said, as a man, then we can't afford to look through the cracks of the door. We have to bust that bitch open and look through the entirety. So my man's didn't look through the entirety, right? He was just looking through the crack. You know what that nigga did? He spent $50 a week on motherfucking Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Said $100 a month on life insurance was ridiculous. But $200 a month on Dogecoin was the best bet. Oops, nigga, you dead. Sorry, ain't nobody got your passcode for your Dogecoin or your Bitcoin. Lost fucking money. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect the dead. But your daughter about to get them cheeks clapped by a nigga in a wave cap. And that shit don't sound too good. The harsh realities we got to deal with is much worse than the little, mean words that I say. I used to say shit like, when I used to argue with people on Donald Trump, they used to be like, what about the Central Park Five? And he put out the fucking magazine article. And I used to be like, y'all are going to argue with me on Central Park 5 in a magazine article. What about fucking Seneca Village? Oh, I mean, the Africa town that got pillaged, raped, and slaughtered so you could create fucking Central Park. Again, let's look through the entirety, not the fucking crap, people. You know what I'm saying? But tis what it is. Anyway, man, it's almost 12:30. I've been going for a minute. I want to say, man, I'm gonna do this more often. I won't be as crazy or unorganized. My chats with my other financial professionals, other realtors, other mortgage loan originators. If y'all have any professionals y'all want me to work with, feel welcome. Let them know I am a little unorthodox. They may want to check someone like Boyce Watkins, who swears often. Biden just sent airstrike to Somalia, July 20th. Holy smokes. Yeah, I was unaware of that. But that's more of that same shit like when Obama killed, Gaddafi in Libya. Because he was going to move away from the World Bank and IMF. BMF, IMF. The IMF is the International Monetary Fund, if you weren't aware. I know a Black Beauty knows. Trust me, I know a Black Beauty knows because she was talking that Brooklyn talk and that money talk, just like when we met on a TLA show, and she, I was explaining, just like when I met my wife, and her homegirls was like, yeah, you gonna have to get a man who doing something other than working at Macy's because we'll shop there, but he can't keep up with our lifestyle. Yo, y'all women is hard body, yo. I ain't even mad, but yo, the reason they're hard body, fellas, we got a society that we got to keep up with, like, right? And as Black men, man, We can't be sitting here bickering at our women. We look like fucking jokes, right? If we need to be bickering, man, like I said, I ain't get shot 5 times for no reason. You know how many dudes in Brooklyn, man, off Eastern Parkway, when I would go to the corner store to pick up a Gatorade, a loose cigarette, and a fucking blunt wrap, all them niggas were like, yo, I got drugs, I got weed, I got this, I got that. Oh, so y'all niggas are entrepreneurs. Hey, I sell life insurance. I work for myself, 1099, just like you. I set my appointment. You see, I'm sitting here buying weed with y'all niggas and doing financial services. Why don't y'all come work with me? Nah, man, nah. I'm gonna check out Willie D. Willie D, the big homie, right? So I said, all right, fuck it. They didn't want to get into insurance. They wanted to get into real estate, right? I was reluctant to get into real estate until somebody called me with a property on 899 Fulton Street. That property was listed at $14.6 million. Once I did the math and saw that even I think at a 1% commission, my split, my commission would have been $250,000. I told the gentleman, give me 30 days, I will have my real estate license. 30 days later, I had my real estate license. Did I close on that $14.6 million listing? Unfortunately, no. Why? Because I don't know nobody with $15 million. Yes, the Vanderbilt. Actually, the Vanderbilt is Ryan Serhant's listing. I went to that open house. That shit was awesome. He had the developer there, this Asian woman. Unfortunately, I have diabetic neuropathy. He came and spoke to me and everything. Also, like I said, check out 1325 Herkimer. That's on Eastern Parkway. That's another Ryan Serhant listing. He's with Nest Seekers now. No longer is he with Douglas Elliman. But he had that building. He also has another property on Ralph Avenue that I think is in development. If you get with me, I'll get you with his agent, Nick, and then we can definitely work on that. Are you talking about, the owner of the Vanderbilt? Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I gotta take you to lunch or some shit. Okay. Because we can definitely cross sell. Oh, for 1325 Herkimer. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I used to live on 7 Monaco, right across from 1320. I saw it when it was a church, when it got demolished, when it was being built. A Black Beauty, let me tell you, all the people in that neighborhood, the black folks in that neighborhood used to talk to me like I was fucking stupid because I used to be like, oh, this is about to be high-rise condos. And they used to be like, nigga, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. That's about to be apartments. It's about to be low income. They already got it rented out. Look, there's stuff in the apartment. I was like, the stuff in the apartment is because they're staging it. But the one bedroom started $399. But everybody in the neighborhood just told me I was a stupid motherfucker. I didn't know what I was talking about because those are gonna be low income apartments. But as you know, trying to list, they started at $399. Because I tried to buy one. Me and my wife, we got approved in that area and around that time for $940. So we were trying to get a 3-bed. I'm proud of us. We still own here and we're still landlords. Green Ave, yeah, Green Ave is still all black. Look, I used to live, like I told you, I used to live on Bainbridge between Lewis and Stuyvesant. So that whole area is still black. Like I said, and I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, spitting that realness when you was on TLA. Because we was chatting in the back and I said, well, could you break it down? Because these dudes ain't going to listen to me because I'm not a beautiful woman. They was sitting there drooling all over you. So I was like, let them know that, I know some powerful people. Let them know about Eric Adams. And she was like, yeah, Bainbridge is that block. I was and I wasn't on I was right before the dead end. So I was between Lewis and Stuyvesant. So yeah, with the brown signs, the brown street signs, because it's a historical block. So my next door neighbor is also the gentleman who approached me about starting a black hedge fund. And at the time, I didn't have the $3 million that he wanted for me to buy in. But this man owns a bunch of brownstones in Brooklyn. He owns a couple of houses on Clarendon. He actually gave me 4 listings on Clarendon when I first started at Coldwell Banker. I used to do Coldwell Banker. So, when you're looking at luxury and international real estate, Coldwell Banker is probably the best for training. And then Douglas Elliman is probably the best for being known. Unless you're talking about New York City, then Corcoran. Well, you would know better than me because you're still out there doing it. I ain't been in New York in 2 years as far as real estate goes. So even though my license is active, I don't have it parked anywhere. Um, but if you starting a team, start a REIT because I don't want to run it. But I have 4 ladies, right? I don't have my 7, but I do have a girl who has her 7. So, because I have my real estate license, I can't have my 7. It's a conflict of interest, which is why I'm going with the Series 6. But I'm just going to do the 65 and charge fees for service instead of getting just commission. Because I think it's ill. See, these are the type of conversations we need to be having. Y'all see that, fellas? Me and A Black Beauty just started talking straight money there, right? So when y'all are approaching a woman like this, or another black sister, maybe she isn't 100% like this. Because, gentlemen, we talk about, Walmart Keisha or Walmart Lemonade Isha, Lemonade Keisha, Sharkeisha, right? But we also talk about Glocktavius, right? Well, gentlemen like me, I'm tired of when I go to business meetings, the white guys, they look at me and they say, oh, here comes Glocktavius in a business, in an ill-fitting blazer, right? Because that's what they say, right? Like I said, man, Black Beauty, my office I used to office on 39 Broadway, 100 Broadway, and 11 Broadway while I was doing stock brokeraging. Some of the jokes these dudes used to tell would be like, what's the difference between a black man and a pizza? I don't know, Bob, what? Well, a pizza can feed a family of 4. And obviously, we have to sit there and eat that. You know what I mean? But you know what made me sit there and eat that? When I seen a black dude come in there with a Bergdorf Goodman bag. I know, Beauty, you know Bergdorf Goodman, but a lot of people don't know of Bergdorf Goodman. When I seen that, I was like, oh, we talking bread. See, we know, we might know Neiman Marcus, Lord and Taylor, Bloomingdale's, but most of us ain't never heard of Bergdorf Goodman. You know what I mean? I also do a little bit of background acting. So I did an episode of Person of Interest. I think it was season 2, episode 1, or season 1, episode 2, whatever. And Sax is nice too, yes. And we were in Bergdorf shooting an episode where I guess they shot up the store. The cheapest thing in there was a Tom Ford wristlet for $25K. But gentlemen, when you're going and you're looking at women, yes, one of the things I do say is you can't just vet the woman. You have to vet their family. Alonzo, not too much women are this specially made these days. They have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion like in their head. Yo, hold up. I ain't got nothing wrong with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, right? Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion have hypergamous attitudes. So their attitudes are no different, believe it or not, than Kevin Samuels. Right? Like I told you, Kevin Samuels hung up on my face and told me, you ain't making $10,000 a month? GTFOH, go work harder. I ain't mad at him. Right? Because if we're talking about high powered and we want to be bosses and kings and HNIC, heavy is the head that wears the crown. If we're going to give ourselves these monikers and these titles, let's actually live up to them. I'm tired of going places in the hood and Negroes talking about this my block. Where do you have a mortgage or a business on this block, sir? You don't? So you don't own, this ain't your block. It's my block. I own that business there, so this is my block. Right? But until we get that in our head, we don't really deserve the kind of woman that, we're kind of saying that we want. Now I know what you mean, the image that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion in raping men and this, that, and the third, right? But let's look at like Saweetie, who said, if he ain't able to get you a Birkin bag and send him back to the street, right? But peep game. The reason they're saying that is because if you look at wealthy individuals, right, the elite, because we look at this and we say, man, these dudes, how you expect these dudes to have bread at 17? Because your daddy supposed to have had bread, son. Your daddy is supposed to have put you in a position to have hustled for his last name. So he passed something down to you, right? Women can pass down culture, but men create that shit. So thought culture ain't come from the women. It came from the men indulging in the bullshit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna piss some heads off because this shit ain't cute, right? We talking about vetting. So we're talking about, right, a man who's single, right? He wants to go vet a black beauty. He also needs to vet her family. What do I mean? You got to see what her mother, her father's like, what her brothers are like, who the people she hangs around are like, right? And you can do that through casual dating. You ain't got to be all up in it real. I did. But let me tell you something. Part of that vetting process will make you shit or get off the pot. It'll also make you step your game up. Why do I say that? Well, I'm in financial advisory. Guess what my wife's mama did when we first met? While she was my girl, she was a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. So I couldn't just step up in there as some random nigga and think I'm gonna be talking, yeah, Bitcoin, Dogecoin to the moon. Nah, nigga, I do this for real. What do you mean, Bitcoin, Dogecoin to the moon? You see, a black beauty just does this for real. She said, yo, start a REIT. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna talk to like I said, I have a girl who I recruited who has her Series 7 who may start that REIT. And I want to talk slick too, because let's talk about my man's Kevin Samuels, who I watch, right? This dude, she said Cardi is winning. She got access to the ring and to the asset. Big facts, but Cardi's doing a lot to get that. You know what I'm saying? And Cardi is definitely being a wife and following her husband, right? Now, they might talk all that slick smackety smackety, we raping and popping women, this, that, and the third, but he ain't doing none of that. We switcherooing. I sleep with 16 bitches off of Molly every day. And then at night he goes home and lays down next to his wife and child. Meanwhile, you dudes are out here talking about, I want to harem. Nigga, the fuck? If you want to harem, bro, you got to be able to afford that. Salute, go professor in the building. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go follow him and A God Travels. Make sure you also check out Chaos Rain and Talk Real Solutions. And make sure y'all go follow A Black Beauty. Yeah, she be dropping some gems too. You know? Can't even afford one but wants five. Big facts. You know? I think what that comes from, yes, you know, it's a lot of dudes who want multiple women. And there are ways around that, but at the end of the day, like I said, as men, we create culture. So we indulged in BS. We created that culture. We have to recreate that. We have to re-engineer that. So one of the ways that we do that is stop bickering at our women. They ain't gonna change unless they see something to change for. And I understand that there are a lot of men who are out here who are doing the right thing, right? I get it. Because let's look at our godfather, Kevin Samuels. I'm very much understanding of where he's coming from, right? As younger men, we ain't get the ladies, me included. I know it's hard to believe. I got that beautiful jawline picture right there, right? But as younger men, we didn't get the lady. Apparently, for me, it was because I was oblivious to the signs, according to my mother-in-law. Because she was with me, and apparently, two chicks was hitting on me at McDonald's, and she was like, "You had no clue." And I was like, "Well, you should probably be happy about that. I'm married to your daughter." But yeah, Alonzo Hall, the insurance junkie, is in the building. You know what I'm saying? But men in vetting, you know, not only was my wife's mother a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, so I'm like, oh, I gotta step my game up. When I came to meet her, like Beauty said, yeah, I went to Bainbridge, right? So, if you will, you can basically imagine this being the block that the Cosbys live on, literally. Like, it's the block the Cosbys live on, straight like that. So perfect. I don't know if you're still in here, but that's why I sleep on heirlooms, which is $10,000 mattresses, um, because in that area, that's what they sleep on. You know what I mean? Um, and it's just it's amazing to see that there is black money in the middle of Bed-Stuy do or die, and you wouldn't even know it. This is coming right off of Troy Ave, right? If you go to the end of my block, right? They used to shoot what's that Boardwalk Empire at the end of my block. They also shot the scene for what's that was it what's the movie with Tay Diggs? Best Man on the end of that block. Right? This is what we're talking about black money, right? There was music engineers and politicians on that block. I rubbed elbows with wealthy black people. Bed-Stuy, Lisa Vine. Big facts. Man, listen, I was there when they was started chopping up those houses to micro apartments, right? My mother-in-law right now lives in a brownstone. She's on the ground floor duplex. So she has the ground floor, the basement, and the second, or the parlor floor, the basement and the second floor. Man, that shit is beautiful. And what she's paying for it is my landlord, when he bought that house in the 80s, paid $84,000 for it. If you look at any house on Bainbridge Street in Brooklyn, $84,000 is not what them shits are going for. Quavo was a boy and not a man, but how you get it is how you get it. I mean, yeah, a lot of those dudes are boys, not men. Wow. Listen, I paid 1350 for a basement, and this was in 2015. This was a basement for that place on Monaco, for 7 Monaco. I took the basement apartment, because it was my aunt's house. We paid 1350 for an efficiency, me and my wife. But we were close to the junction, we were close to Rockaway. There's a lot of, I don't know if you work with foreclosures, but I got a list. If you go over there right now, there's actually a property. I don't know if the guy still got it. 90 Sackman. It's a lot of dudes over there, Brownsville where the grass is greener and the Trips Amina. If you go over there right now, you can tell them my nickname, tell them Snoop sent you, ask for Mookie, ask for Jazzy, ask for Black, or ask for Vito. That's on the closer to the Sackman side. That's where all the Crips stay. If you go closer to Rockaway, you will be where the Bloods stay. And if you go down Atlantic Avenue, you will be where the Gangster Disciples stay. I lived in the middle of this beef that all of the people are hearing now on this music with the Wu and the Cho. That beef between Pop Smoke and the Gangster Disciples is real. I'll just put it to you like that. You're looking for a building? Yeah. What kind of building you looking for, Black Beauty? Because I know some people. The problem is, I hate because we get these freaking wholesalers who convolute things, and then they add assignments to the mortgage, which is like an additional $10,000. Because what they did was some dumb shit, and they got it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Black Beauty. I'm a chill dude. I ain't even gonna hold you. But that's from my prior affiliations. As you can see, my Cash App is 374, so it's 74 till it blow. um, you saw something on Strauss for 425. Damn, that's dirt cheap. That got to be a single family. Yeah, I'll check, man, cause like I had so many good properties. I had something on Saratoga, and man, she was trying to get out of the property. Crazy situation. She's actually got a property in Fort. I wish I still had this woman's number. She's got a couple of properties Um, this is for self, or this is okay. This is for self. Okay, so definitely I'm gonna definitely look for something. Man, listen, see, Black Beauty, I got to bring you up here and we got to talk about that strategy with real estate because I be telling dudes, right? I be like, yo, y'all dudes be. Let me get back to the Kevin Samuels thing, and then I'm gonna tell dudes about they stuff. So with Kevin Samuels, right? When we was younger, yo, we ain't really get women like that, right? We ain't get the baddest bitch, and we ain't even get the leftover chick, right? We was the weird dude that couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't take one for the team if we tried, right? That's me and Kevin Samuels, right? And as we've gotten older, there's a lot of Kevin Samuels followers as well. We've gotten older, we've maybe had some success, and we've gotten that hey big head from the girl who curbed us in high school, who now has 14 kids and counting, and is pushing a cart in Walmart. So now we feel full of ourselves, and we're living vicariously through Kevin Samuels because he's able to lash out on these women and be like, ha, woman, die alone, get a dog, I got a PhD. So don't take it too seriously, but with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? But he also does hammer down on men. Like I said, he told me I was high value homeless. I'm not working hard enough, and hung up in my face. You know what I mean? He's really hypergamous. He'll tell you as a man, if you're not paying all the bills, you're a failure as a husband because you're supposed to pay all the bills. Otherwise, the fuck are you doing? And he's saying this. He's talking to a specific crowd. Yes, he's talking to those elites, those, as BGS will call them, those 92 and those 100 octanes. But in Black America, what ends up happening is the 92 and the 100 octanes don't get paid too much attention to, right? As far as men are concerned, 92 and 100 octane in terms of looks, women get paid attention to. But again, you have to look at a woman for utility purposes as well, not just how hot she is, right? So let's look at like when we were on TLA. A Black Beauty was definitely up there looking very attractive. The men heard not a fucking word you said. They were busy looking at you like they do with, Jessica X, and they jack off to her avatar, right? But as opposed to, really hearing what you had to say. Some dudes was, like I said, ma, they wasn't listening to what you had to say. And then, old Shorty was like saying what she had to say or whatever, and they was eating it up. Now, salute for all this free knowledge. No doubt, brother. I'm gonna kick as much free game as possible, man. As long as what I'm saying, I ain't take these 5 shells for no reason, cause I ain't get shot 5 times for no reason. You know what I mean? Um, that is sad if they did that. Yeah, man. They're gonna do a lot. But that's definitely what they did, Wiley. That's kind of unfortunately the reputation that this space has gotten is that they ain't really listening, and they just kind of dry dick into the woman's picture. Even TLA said he came on trying to really talk about child support and issues, and now he kind of has to morph it to fucking Charlemagne and bashing fucking Boyce Watkins on some real shit. He trying to tell y'all about child support and saving your heads. Who cares? We in the real life. That's true. Black Beauty. We definitely is in the real talk. So back to actually the vetting of the women. Like I said, I'm married, yo. So like the shit I'm spitting is for y'all dudes out there who maybe are KS followers, because it's dudes who question me like, yo, bro, why the fuck you be in the manosphere? Like these dudes are lame. What, you have nothing in common with them. What are you doing over there? And I'm like, it's difficult to explain that we sitting there for 4 hours, but we're talking about other subjects, because mostly what comes up is weave and you know I need your men to come up with some real shit, because these women is making us look ridiculous, and these other races of men are making us look absolutely ridiculous, right? When if we're complaining about these women who are quote unquote for the street, but they have at least a concrete idea what the fuck they want. When I ask the men, so what do you want in an ideal woman? Oh well, she needs to be able to cook. She needs to be able to clean. Like, does she need to be able to breathe and fucking spit and, have saliva when she chews? Does a car need to come with fucking tires? Like, if you're building yourself from 18 to 35 as a man, then you need to be able to cook and clean your goddamn self. So let's take that off the table as this fucking holy grail of priority that we need from women. You know what I'm saying? You're right, bro. There's so much more to talk about. We need to talk about leadership, starting from the root of our issues before we can talk about success and manage. Big facts. You know what I'm saying? But, even like my wife, she be getting tired of it. She be like, yo, these dudes, like, they want Beyonce to drop to her knees and suck their dick as soon as they come into the door. But, you know, what are they offering? Oh, that's ill stew chicken too. Oh, don't get me wrong, man. I definitely, well, I'm not the super chef, but I get my cook on, And then there's things like compromise. Like my wife cooks. When she cooks, guess what? I do the dishes. You know. Her mother came over for the weekend. Her mother and her mother's best friend came and stayed for the weekend. They went shopping most of the weekend. The other night we wanted dinner, but they had, found a parking space. So I Uber Eats Outback Steakhouse for us all. Little things like that. Instead of making my wife cook. But then the next morning she got up, she cooks breakfast. So there's a give and take, right? But when you're vetting that woman, you're not just vetting her for the purpose of, well, what else, can she offer? That needs to be in the back of your mind. What else can she offer besides, some Becky? What else can she offer besides, she looks good in the hood? Can she look good in a business meeting? Even if she's dumb as a box of bricks, can she look good in a business meeting? Now, if she's dumb as a box of bricks, you don't want to bring her to a business meeting, right? But can you bring her to a business meeting where she can fit in, right? Where she cannot make you look ridiculous by being out of place, because that can screw up business for you, man. By having a woman who makes you look out of place. Like, let's take a look at the movie Pretty Woman, right? Where she was sitting there eating escargot and all this other stuff, and then she looks silly in those nasty tights. Exactly. They got to know how to dress for what she's looking like. Now, fellas, if she don't know how to dress, it's kind of on you to dress her, to make her look like what you want her to look like, which is part of the reason of being able to have that bag, right? So this is going to sound misogynistic, but I'm also hypergamous. So a woman is an accessory, right? So you need to make sure that your accessory, that extension of you, looks a proper way, right? So if you'll notice, like, a lot of wealthy dudes, they'll walk around bummy as shit as long as they woman is in, the latest name brand. But they can't even dress. They wear little boy clothes. Well, this is true. I mean, look, I wear little boy clothes too. Don't get me wrong. I wear Calvin Klein t-shirts, Calvin Klein underwear, and Levi's jeans. Pretty much that's what I wear all summer. And then, like a pair of sneakers. I'm not into sneakers like that. So like I got like some Jordans. Like I said, I just bought the I don't even know what did I say they are, Roberto Cavalli sneakers, just on the strength of I needed a new pair of sneakers and I wanted something that was not regular. But normally you'll see me with like a pair of Adidas walking shoes or a pair of Adidas running shoes or a pair of Pumas walking or running shoes. You ain't gonna see me in the latest J's. I might have on some New Balances, which, there's a joke when you go to the car dealership. If you see a dude with New Balances on, you're about to close a deal for pretty much the best car on the lot. Why? Because they know the dude coming in with New Balances got good credit and a lot of fucking money because he ain't worried about having on some J's. So he ain't gonna finance a fucking Scat Pack Challenger for fucking $958 a month and then call me and be like, I just need some insurance today, and then pay $658 so he can drive off the lot and then get the insurance canceled, go to Geico or the General, and then buy state minimum insurance and be driving around without full coverage, which isn't actually full coverage. But you motherfuckers wouldn't know that because 15 minutes will save you 15%, is what you were taught. Meanwhile, you end up getting into a car accident and don't have true full coverage like medical payments. So you get into a car accident. I'll give you an example. I went to the hospital one day for muscle spasms, right, in my left arm. They prescribed to me Motrin. I left out of that hospital, that emergency room, with prescribed one fucking Motrin, and they charged me $1,000. So now let me ask you this. Do you think in a car accident, they're only going to prescribe one Motrin or only charge you $1,000? Meanwhile, let's look at like state minimums in the state of New York. So state minimums are what's called 25, 50, 10. What does that mean? Well, that means your limits of liability. So 25 means that the car insurance company will pay up to $25,000 per person in the accident. What does 50 mean? 50 means that the car insurance company will pay up to $50,000 in the accident. That's absolutely untrue, Kareem. Um, Medical is not included in the accident. That's you're talking about what I'm talking about, which is the limits of liability. But that's if you injure someone else in their vehicle. But if you are injured in the accident, right, you don't have medical payments as a rider attached to your auto insurance. The only reason I know this because I used to own an Allstate on Pennsylvania Avenue in Brooklyn. So trust me, I still sell PNC out of there. Yeah, you don't get jack in New York. And as an adjuster, so you should definitely know. Maybe you're a good adjuster in New York or a nice adjuster, but you don't get jack. Medical is definitely not included in New York um, at all. I don't. I hope you're an independent adjuster, and I'll definitely throw you some business so you can help some folk get some money. But medical definitely is not included. When you go to the hospital, they're going to ask you if you have medical payments, and they will tell you that you need to pay out of pocket. I don't know if you want to get your continuing education on, but you might want to do that. I know you know how to go to dfs.ny.gov, sister. So definitely, unless you upstate. But in New York City, yeah, ain't, yeah. Um, I don't know what year. Maybe that's AVPIC. I know they're grandfathered in, so maybe that's AVPIC as opposed to AFCIC or Allstate Fire and Casualty. But yeah, nah, New York it ain't not a thing included. I don't know how many years ago, but you know, continuing the education is every 2 years. So as I was saying, the girl got, ironically enough, the reason I'm saying this, there was a girl who actually had an appointment scheduled. She got into a car accident. They actually asked her if she had medical payments on her car insurance. She was like, "No, what's that?" They were like, "Well, yeah, you if you get into a car accident, you actually have additional funds that will pay the medical payments." So what you're talking about, Kareen, as an adjuster is the person who crashed the vehicle. So the person who has that 2550 or that 10 in property damage, right? Because we're talking about again state minimums. So again, the 25 is 25,000 per person, up to 25,000 per person, and that would pay your medical bills. So if Kareen, if you and Black Beauty were in a car and I was in a car and I crashed into you, my insurance would pay. But you're talking about no fault. In no fault, then I wouldn't have to worry about having insurance. Florida is a no fault state. That's why Florida goes through all the bullshit they go through. But New York definitely will get at a person. Um, Again, I'm not arguing, but you know, Adjusting is a lot different than, you're going to be more in depth in terms of the claims. Um, but you're more or less in adjusting, you're giving um, estimates to the damage, or lookups on the damage. But yeah, no fault is definitely a Florida thing. That's not something that they do in New York. What you're talking about is the same thing that I'm talking about when we're talking about limits of liability. So you and Black Beauty are in a car and I crash into y'all, that 25,000 that comes out is gonna go to y'all medical payments. Yes. But that's not medical payments for me. So I crash into the car, y'all are injured. My limits of liability pays for you and Black Beauty's medical bills. Yeah, but that don't do shit for me. So I still have to pay out of pocket unless I have medical payments on my car insurance. Then that will pay for me. So again, the 50 is a maximum of 50,000 for the entirety of the accident. So again, Kareen, you and Black Beauty are in the car. I crash into y'all, and both of y'all got $25,000 worth of medical bills. The insurance company will pay only $25,000 worth of medical bills. But then y'all got to go for more surgery. Well, guess what? Now y'all are going to sue me because my limits have been maxed out at 50,000. Right? And now let's look at the property damage, which is the 10 or the 10,000. So with the 10,000, you're looking at property damage. Now, especially in New York City, even buy here, pay here, who the fuck car is only $10,000? Nobody? Okay. So whose home do you know only cost, whose fence do you know in New York City only costs $10,000 to fix? Nobody's. Okay. But how many roads or corners in New York City do you know people turn down and crash into somebody's fence or the side of their corner property because they be driving too fast? Lots. So what happens when you only have that $10,000 worth of property damage? You have to do what's called poop, pay out of pocket for the rest. Now, I'm going to teach y'all all a trick real quick to get cheaper car insurance, right? Whatever your limits of liability are right now. Last week, somebody backed into my front, didn't get their plate. Limu paid none. I have liability. You have uninsured, underinsured motorists too. So basically, when you get caught in a hit and run and stuff like that, they'll go ahead and pay it out. So you may want to check if you have what is it? UIUM, uninsured, underinsured. Damn. All right. Well, so she's Gucci there. But so here's a way to get cheaper car insurance. Your limits of liability, no matter what state you're in, increase them from whatever they are now to 100, 300. Increase your limits of liability to 100, 300. Okay. Usually 100, 350. And what that does is that triggers the insurance company to consider you what's called a responsible insured. Okay. So you wonder why your rates hike every 6 months. Well, that's because if you have 2550 or even 5100, you're still not a responsible insured in the eyes of the insurance company, because insurance is about indemnification or making whole financially a party who was wrong, right? So when you switch from whatever your limits of liability are to Black Beauty, I'm about to come and steal your business from Limu. I'm gonna just go mode one and tell you straight like that. But when you switch from 100 or from whatever you have to 100, 350 in limits of liability and property damage coverage, it's initially more expensive, per month to start. However, over time, it stays cheaper and it stays level. So you'll notice, as opposed to every 6 months getting an increase because you are paying for the accidents of everyone else, you will get an increase maybe once every year, maybe every 2 years, because you're responsible insured. You'll also notice that when you increase your limits of liability from whatever they are now to up to 100, 300. If you're above 100, 300, then don't go down, obviously. But if you're at 100, 300, you're perfect. Now at 100, 300, you can also shop around for different insurance companies. And then you will find that your rates are even cheaper. Do it for 30 days. Just switch from whatever you are now to 100, 300 for 30 days and see what happens when you shop around after that 30 days and find out that the quotes that you get are much more reasonable. Yes, the dollar amount up front, instead of $16 a month, it might be $26 a month. But you'll notice that over the course of 3 years, it will stay $26 a month instead of going $16 a month, then next month 17, then next month 18, then next month $24 a month. you know, and it goes like that. Yeah, I've been going for 2 hours. I expected to go for 20 minutes, Kareen. So I don't mind you going to sleep. Um, it's just when y'all get me going, I get to going, and I'm passionate about this, and I like to hear myself talk. So that helps. Can I ask? Someone said technically we do not need insurance. Is that true? Like, it's all right to travel freely? No, not in the eyes of the law of the United States. You should really, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's about indemnity. So technically, you don't need insurance, but if you go around and not having insurance, you better have a whole hell of a lot more money than Jeff Bezos, because every little thing that happens is going, what I'm saying, mess the hoteps. So peep game, here's how I kick the shit out of the hoteps, right? The hoteps and the Power Rangers, which is Hebrew Israelites. I call them Power Rangers. But with the hoteps, I usually kick them in the head with life insurance. So when the pharaohs decided to build the pyramids and fill them with riches to send money to the afterlife, isn't that life insurance? So what you mean doing life insurance is submitting to the white man system? Oh, yeah, because the pharaoh thought about life insurance all them years ago. It was just he did it a little differently. You see what I'm saying? But again, I digress. The reason I bring back these concepts is because, like I said, fellas, in vetting your women, you are vetting yourself. You're seeing what kind of man you are or need to be or transform into, right? I couldn't go, the field my wife works in, the field I work in, the field my wife's mother worked in, the field my wife's father worked in. He was a diamond cutter and a tech for Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. Her stepfather works for Columbia University. So in terms of vetting, I had to realize, okay, I'm stepping into a family of folks who, her cousins got college degrees. Her family is all doing stuff. I look at my family. A lot of my family has master's degrees. We've been in the arts for years. Okay. And then there's me. I was being a knucklehead. I wanted to try and run the streets, but I fell victim to what a lot of young black men fall victim to, and that's the thought culture. And again, that's men's fault, because we as men, especially black men, well, when I was getting called egghead and shit by the other dudes, well, the girls like the other dudes that was calling me egghead, right? And the other dudes are these quote unquote thug dudes that are getting on the box. So what I'm gonna do? Well, you know what? In the hood, when you come home from college, there's no celebration. Everybody go, oh, you think you better than us now. You went and got the white man's books, and now you think you something. Let me hold some money. Meanwhile, when white people graduate college, they get given money because they, come out of school with an ass load of debt. Well, usually they don't, but anyway. But when you come home from jail, yo, my nigga came home, son. Yo, we gotta throw a party. Hey, yo, we getting all the finest girls, and we getting all the bottles, and we doing it all up. And oh my God. Or when a nigga goes to jail. Like I got a homeboy right now who's in the feds for like 2 years now. I just found this out the other day. I'm not trying to diss him, but cause we in our 30s and 40s, bro. Fuck you doing getting locked up? Like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't kids no more, nigga. That losing 2 years when you were 22 was okay. Losing 2 years when you were 38 or 40 is not fucking okay. Think we have a thing in sales. You miss one day of business, that'll set you back 3 days, right? But these are those small steps that now these women are unprotected, and we talking about we we talking about cooking and cleaning. Nah, bro, I'm gonna need you to at least have a definitive idea of what the ideal female is. Again, not just having fucking tires like a car, because cooking and cleaning is something that every car should come with. It should come with tires, whether it's brand new or old. So, I mean, let's get into in depth. Let's look at utility. My wife is an accountant. I'm self-employed, right? Um, Sunday night, JP Morgan laid me off on Tuesday. Big fat. JP Morgan, man, black dudes ain't getting no job at JP Morgan. And actually, now that you mentioned JP Morgan, that's ironic because I'm writing a book, and it's called, well, I'm not going to give you all the title yet, but it has to do with generational wealth. Actually, I'll tell you all the title. It's called Get Rich While Dying Trying, the Inner City Man's Guide to Creating Generational Wealth. And in there, one of the experts I mentioned is, when you think of generational wealth, generally you think of fast cars and BMWs and things like the Kardashians, but that's not generational wealth. Generational wealth usually isn't flashy. You usually don't know who they are, but you actually do. So let's take a look at some generational wealth who you don't know, but you know them. So let's look at the Morgans. J.P. Morgan of J.P. Morgan Chase is the grandfather of Henry Sturgis Morgan, founder of Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, Dean Witter, and buying everybody else. They also just bought E-Trade. Real quick, Charles Schwab just bought TD Ameritrade. So look out for those different trades. I don't know what they're going to call it. TD Amerischwab, what they're going to call it, but they're going to call it something. Black Beauty, there's a bunch of brothers I know who are in, like I said, if you want to get back with Coldwell Banker, if you look up and you're in Brooklyn, I'm trying to think which street because they're in Bed. We had 3 offices. One is in Bed-Stuy. The Bed-Stuy office is ran by the black broker, which is Arun Henry. He's a cool guy. And like I said, ironically enough, we actually had a few people who are on $1 Million Listing in New York, who are friends with Luis from the earlier season, the Puerto Rican dude who left for Paris. I got a few. There's one girl named Shayla who's from Puerto Rico. She's close friends with Luis, and she was gonna come to America and go to Element and go on the show. And he told her, no, first go to Coldwell Banker because they have better training, and then you come to Element once you know what you're doing. Which is why I know what I'm doing in the fields that I am in because I train. I work for J.P. Morgan Chase corporate office in Kennesaw some years back, and I learned a lot. Yeah, I'll tell you what. With Morgan Stanley is real freaked up. So recently, in 2021, Raymond James, who ironically enough is going to be at the Conference of African American Financial Professionals August 10th and 11th, got sued by Not real estate, but my fintech career. Oh shit. Okay, we got the fintech going. Okay, well, definitely, I don't know too many dudes who are in financial technology at the moment, but you can start it. Um, oh, she worked at 277 Park. Okay, definitely. See, y'all, we definitely dropping some science here, man. But in terms of self-employment, man, that's actually another thing I want to talk about. Entrepreneurship and self-employment, man. Look, black folks, there is a difference between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed. I am not an entrepreneur. I am self-employed. I own my job, but I do not have a system that is in place that makes me money without me doing the work. So what pisses me off about you hood dudes, and we're gonna get back to the dudes, is like I try to recruit hood dudes to this field, and they be like, "Oh, I can sell anything because I sold some coke," and I'm like, bro, just because you can, sell some cocaine or let somebody come to you and get a bag of white powder, that's completely different than convincing a person to purchase a home, even though they come to you and they say they want that home, right? Because then people will come to you ass backwards with no money down, not even pre-approved for a mortgage, and be like, "I want to buy a house." Right, Black Beauty. I had somebody when I went to when I worked with my boys brokerage, Encore Property Group on New Lots Ave. This woman came in, this elderly couple. She was a retired teacher, and that's all she would tell me. I'm a retired teacher. I got money, but I want to buy a house. Okay, make it a good price. Okay, and her husband was with her. Don't tell him what you got. I'm like, well, I need to know, kind of, what you're looking at for a down payment. Well, we got at least 50%. Okay, how much are you looking to spend on the house? Well, I don't know. Find us something good. So I found them a $10 million house. And then they were like, well, what are you trying to be funny? I was like, well, you told me you had 50%, and then you won't tell me how much you have. So find a good price. $10 million is a good price to me. So, black folk, when you talk to the financial professionals, stop making it like we got to pull teeth to get your information, right? Like as me as a financial advisor, right? When I'm doing like insurance with people, I'll sit down with you and like I need, stuff like your age, your date of birth, your social security, your signature, your bank account, numbers like that. And you'll be leery about giving them to me. First of all, nigga, you broke. So if I wanted to scam a scheme on somebody, your broke ass wouldn't be the one I'm doing it on. Cause let's be honest, I'm here in a suit and tie and you are feeling embarrassed that I'm sitting here with you. I've been in this situation before. Not saying that my suit and tie is, Louis Vuitton and Christian Dior and all that, but I don't buy cheap shit neither. Right? So my blaze is at least $600. Your rent is $600. So, let's put things into perspective here. Right? But secondly, I would risk my livelihood to do that, Oh, I don't like to. I had a guy who was 42 years old who had his mama say, well, I want to get some life insurance on my son. So I said, okay. And I set it up. And then when I said, listen, I need your driver's license number, he hung up on me, said, hold on, called his mother, had his mother call me. Oh, well, something happened to him, so he don't feel good about giving his license number. Ma'am, I have his name, his address, his date of birth, and his social security number. What in the fuck could I do with his driver's license that I can't do with this pertinent information that I have now? Oh, I don't really like giving out my bank account. Again, sir, I have your name, your address, your date of birth, and your social security number and signature on this life insurance application. What in the absolute fuck can I do with your bank account that I could not do with this pertinent information? Right? Ask me how many times in black households I've been there. where it's time to collect the bank account information, and now suddenly it's the holy grail. I don't really like giving out my bank account's information. People can find you. I don't like giving out my social security number. People can find you. But if I came to your ass with Publishers Clearinghouse, hey Bob, you just won $2,000 a week for life. Oh yeah. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 8, 7, 7, 5, 5, 5, 5. You give that shut up on a heartbeat. We can't pass a stack in a handshake a deal. Yeah, trust me. I used to have to deal with the West Indies. I'm no yard. I'm a Yankee. I'm a damn Yankee, but I used to definitely be on the Parkway during Juve. Doing my thug dizzle. I definitely love my New Yorkers. You know. And I definitely love my New Yorkers because they do the susu, and the West Indians would definitely do the susus too, right? Those things were hard body and definitely live. Now, look, I'm sitting here talking about, a multi-hour live, but I've been trying to stay on topic and talking about basically wealth and vetting your women because it's about self-improvement, gentlemen. So when you're vetting your woman, you want to make sure that you're vetting her so that you can make sure that this is the woman that you need to be the apex best of yourself for and improve yourself, right? But then also you can start by planning, right? I sat with a gentleman recently who has a 10-year plan, right? So he's like, in 10 years, I want to do this and this, that, and the third. And he said, don't waste time with people who can't afford you, bro, because they're going to play games. They're going to nickel and dime all the time. I don't mind them nickel and diming, bro, because for me, I mean, I understand time can be valuable, but, I can definitely make up that money with no problem. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, if I play bully ball, when I say bully ball, if I go hard with my sales, like if I get a client on the line, I can become a bully and force them to buy something, but I don't like to do that. Um, you're a man and you can't speak up. Yeah. Well, listen, his mother is the reason he was getting the policy. But again, bro, you 42 years old. Why is your mother concerned with getting life insurance for you? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he's like, well, I'm 42, but I don't have a wife and kids. Okay, that's fine and dandy, and that's very true. And I just realized I muted myself. So that's fine and dandy, and that's very true. You're 42, but you don't have a wife and kids. But things like plans, brothers, we got to start looking at plans. And we aren't even planning to have families. No wonder we're effed up. So somebody actually told me, well, why would I sit there and get a life insurance policy or a family plan for a family I haven't even started yet? Well, when you get a job, you always look before you even start that job to see if they have good benefits. Do they have a retirement account? Well, why the fuck would I concern myself with retirement when I ain't gonna be retired for another 40 years? Because you're gonna be retired in that 40 years and you don't wanna, when that 40 years comes, be like, holy shit, I gotta go work at Walmart because I thought I had time. No, you want to be done. You want to be able to have that shit done. So, it's the same premise here, right? I want to start a family. Well, let me go ahead and do that. You know, let me put together my MAP, which is my mortgage asset plan, right? So, black folks, and a black beauty, you can probably speak to this, that there's redlining today still. Well, how is there redlining today? Well, they do it through the mortgage industry, right? When you apply for a mortgage and you're black, you're going to fill out that mortgage in black ink, that application, right? Well, what does that do? That triggers to the underwriters, oh, this is a black applicant, scrutinize it a little more. Now, you don't know that, but financial professionals know that. Mortgage professionals know that. A lot of realtors don't know that. But now you know if you're listening here, or shit, this is almost 3 hours long. So if you have the nerve to listen on the playback, and you're listening back on the playback, now you know. Again, if you're just coming in, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, um, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, if you'd like to contribute to channel growth, my information is scrolling across the screen. Um, so, you know, we have to be strategic and tactical, gentlemen, because we can actually really, build ourselves up. So check this out, Black Beauty. Here's a way people can buy a house, right? People generally know they want to buy a house, and an FHA loan is 3.5%. But why not go ahead and instead of saving your money in a bank account that's going to give you 0.0% APR, or 0.5% APR with a minimum $25,000 balance, save it in a life insurance policy that grows at a compound interest rate of 2%. And since you know you're going to be saving the money over the course of, I don't know, 1 to 5 years, if I know I want to buy a house in 5 years, also a life insurance policy can be used as an asset when you're applying for a mortgage if you've had the policy for at least 2 years and it's not gotten for the purpose solely of buying a house. Now, who's to tell the mortgage loan originator that you bought that life insurance policy 5 years ago thinking that you were going to build the cash value or the equity to have as a down payment on a house? You don't want to be an annoying NYC landlord. Even when you're giving them a deal, they will still want to nickel and dime. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're going to have that situation too, Kwafi. Um, but at the end of the day, my mindset, I have a winner's mindset. So with my mindset, I'm going to be like, F it, that's their loss. You know what I mean? It says I'm pre-approved, but credit only gives me FHA, and FHA doesn't qualify in the section buildings. This is very true, but well, see, you're already out there, damn it. So you've probably got, I don't know what brokerage you're with. Are you with a big name brokerage, or are you with a more boutique brokerage, Black Beauty? Because I think Herkimer is a sexy building also, and they have fuck, I forgot what he said, but they have a tax situation where you can actually get into Herkimer with an FHA because they were given a tax rebate. Oh, you were doing Miami. Oh, well. My brother lives in Miami. He actually just closed on a townhouse. Um, he lives in, what is it, Coral Gables, which is, I guess, the ritzy part. We've always liked to live in like the ritzy parts. Like I live in New Haven, Connecticut, but I live downtown. Um, baddies don't want to live it. Baddies do. Yes, the baddies do want to live in NYC, and they definitely want to live in Brooklyn, and they definitely want to live where you are. But the small hats, she won't win. Listen, see, she fancy, huh? Yeah, well, he's married. Yeah, he's married. But here, you see the talk she's talking, Wally. This men need to be prepared for this, right? Y'all need to be prepared for this because she's the type of woman that you're going to want, right? She's able to have a utility. She's able to sit there. If you heard the way she was talking, man, on TLA, these dudes wasn't even hearing her, man. They was looking at the picture, but they wasn't hearing you. You know what I'm saying? They definitely wasn't hearing you. You know. Yeah, Wynwood is definitely more for the singles, but my brother definitely, like I said, is in the Coral Gables area because that's the kind of thing he likes. Plus, he's not super duper rich. He's not Jamie Dimon area. You know what I mean? But he's doing pretty good, and especially for Florida, you can live nicely on 60, 70 grand in Miami. Um, Not so much so in New York City, where me and Black Beauty are at. Well, I'm in Connecticut, but I was in 3472nd Ave. Oh, really? Okay, I want to live with sexy people, not old West Indian people. Well, damn, yeah, that's a sexy building. Okay, I see, Black Beauty. I like your style. I can't let you hang out with my wife at all, because I already had to deal with a lot to bring her down from 92 octane. You just gonna bring her back up there, man. Woo. Yeah, but you know what? I love it because see what this does, man, is it makes us as men want to be the best form of us, right? Instead of me wanting to be the best basketball dribbler or the best, like when I saw that dude come out with that Bergdorf Goodman bag, you know what I'm saying? That made me go, "Oh, snap." Like, wow. Like dudes have no clue what Bergdorf Goodman is. You know what I mean? Like I was shocked. Like when I was working I was on Wall Street for quite some time. Um, but like I used to go to Thomas Pink to get some of my shirts and stuff. Um, One of the places I go now for suits is a place called My Suit because it's fairly inexpensive over there. My wife works in FiDi too in Lower Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? She till this day works in Lower Manhattan. We were actually looking at some areas over there um, for living, but again, we're trying to do the whole family thing, so it kind of makes more sense to be out here. But look, folks, I'm getting a little tired, and I want to go watch some other content creators. I love the fact that y'all came up in here. Make sure y'all go follow A Black Beauty. I'm gonna try and have her actually one of these days coordinate that she can come up here and talk to y'all about real estate because even though I'm deep into it, she is actively doing it in one of the best places in the world to do real estate, which is New York. And my New Yorkers are always going to hold a little preference for me. Well, actually, my New Yorkers and my Californians. Um, and that's because we're the money states, right? So when we talk about money, um, we talk about it from a perspective because ain't nowhere else in the world ain't nowhere else in the world like New York at all. But definitely nothing like California either. Uh, I think and I think I probably need to take it that way as well because if you're smart, you can make every deal work for you, even with the cheap ones. Yeah, man, definitely. You know what I mean? There was something that one of the financial advisors that was a rock star when I was at Mutual of Omaha used to say. He used to say, "Listen, we work in a business with chargebacks. So the way chargeback works is in insurance. Um, I'm responsible for you keeping that policy for 13 months. So if you buy a policy from me today and I get paid on it tomorrow, and then 6 months from now you switch to Geico, the insurance company is going to take the money that they paid me for you buying that policy back from me. So he said, being in this business, you have to realize that, yeah, those $100 deals are great, but they hurt a lot more when you charge back. I'd rather have five $20 deals than one $100 deal. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And that's when I started going to the projects in the Bronx and selling a lot of final expense life insurance. The next time I come on, I'm going to talk about, like I said, the amortization schedule because I think that'll probably be a pre-record because when I go live, I like to just kind of go off on tangents and kind of get in my feelings and kind of just let it flow. You know what I mean? I just kind of let it freestyle and whatever I spit is what I spit um, because, I think it's just kind of like that. Good night, Black Beauty. But like I said, I'm coming up on 3 hours and I wasn't even expecting to go 30 minutes. But sometimes when you get the grooving and going, you kind of just get the grooving and going, especially when you're talking about money at midnight, right? But so I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. So salute to everyone who's watching in the playback. Salute to everyone who came. Make sure you drop a comment, hit that like. And if you'd like to contribute to channel growth, my information will be in the description box. Remember, everyone, wipe ass, work in progress every day, and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. And lastly, remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.